Ooh, not me, man. My Urban Daily site is playing ads again.
It ain't me.
I was on a bootleg movie site watching.
I was about to say that sounds like Super Mario at the strip club.
Is that me?
Nah, I was trying to steal some TV shows, man.
This dude in the Vegas airport.
I was playing Yoshi's World, alright? Get on me.
He said he was in the Vegas airport.
That's what it sounds like when you walk.
That was that Wheel of Fortune lane. Yo, you be seeing that joint too, right when you get on.
Yup.
Oh, man.
As soon as you land in Vegas, before you even get to ground transportation, there's like 6 slot machines waiting for you.
Man, you can't even walk, man. You can't get to the bathroom before they hit you with a daggone casino joint.
Nah, they want you to go broke before you get to the curb.
He's like, yo, man, I don't even know I'm gonna pay for this cab ride, man. I don't even
anything.
know.
Yeah, I'm sorry, homie. They got me inside.
I bet you, though. I bet you there's a person that probably lost all their money in the airport, didn't leave. They just waited for their flight. It's like, yo, I'm gonna be here for like 2 days, man.
Had to fly standby going home.
Heard up, yo.
Gross.
So we ready?
I had to start out and say congrats to my man Daytwan on his first issue of Respect magazine.
Oh man, thank you, bro. Thank you, bros. Thank you. We got a lot of work, man. We got a lot of work to do.
Giving me Scratch magazine flashbacks with
That's right, man. You hit me out. Yo, that was like my second time hearing it, but it was funny because when I was putting it together, I never even thought about it. And then when you said it, and I was like, yo, it does look like a scratch cover. That's crazy, man. And what's ill is like I named the head for the piece is called "He's the DJ, I'm the Rapper."
Nice.
And it definitely has like that scratch spirit. I think the whole issue does, because you know how we feel about that, yo.
Right. I saw you got the Barrow Brothers story, and was that a KRS-One and who did you have together?
KRS-One and D Nice.
What?
Yeah, but it's crazy. It's D Nice telling the story of how they got back together, and it's probably one of my favorite as told tools that I've seen. Keith Murphy did it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, nice, Murph dog.
Yeah, so he talked to D Nice, and D didn't hold any punches, man.
He never does.
I didn't think he would be that candid.
We had a great interview with him a couple weeks ago where he was talking about Boogie Down Productions and the Star, and then he was talking about being in that One More Chance video.
Ah, yeah, that was crazy.
We ran that on Biggie's birthday, and I was like, oh, snap. So, yeah, D Nice is a great interview. He's a great
interview. Is D Nice the dude that was spiking the punch?
Yep.
That was him.
I fucking knew it.
And now he running all these parties, man. That's crazy how his career has turned.
Yep.
Hope he's not spiking that punch.
He taking the money, I tell you that.
Have we started?
Yeah, we're live. So,
sweet.
There we go.
So we gathered here today to talk about a bunch of things. A lot has happened this week, but at the top of our minds was Justin Bieber's videos as a 14-year-old making racist jokes and dropping N-bombs and all kinds of stuff. And we've heard this kind of thing happening before. People kind of came to his defense, this, that, and the third, and then the second video came out, and it's like, okay, so now what?
Right.
So who wants to start?
I think we should turn it over to the militant dude in the black hoodie.
the other Chuck.
Yeah.
The other rebel without a pause.
Chuck C.
Chuck C.
Chuck C.
Yeah, boy. Kick it to him, Chuck.
Here's the thing. All right, first of all, let's just keep it real. Nobody's going to do anything. Nobody's going to say anything, which is cool.
Right.
It's better than the defense mechanism. I'm more concerned, really and truthfully, with the masses of people out here who are somehow always want to turn this around and point the finger at Lil Wayne or point the finger at a rapper a present day rapper as if it's the same thing as Justin Bieber using the N-word or proclaiming he should join the KKK. Like these things, this is where we get it twisted, and twisted is a light term. But it's annoying to me more often. Look, back in the day, just use MC Search, for example, or the Beastie Boys, for example.
Right.
If those guys back in that era had used the N-word or at all, much less, how would we have responded as a community? They wouldn't have made that in New York alive. Like, for real, for real. Now we are in some supposed post-racial America, which we know doesn't exist, but people in the black community are still acting. They've drank so much Kool-Aid over the past 4 to 6 years since Obama got elected that they still believe, despite people like Trayvon Martin, Jordan Davis, et cetera, that we're in a post-racial America, and we're not. So we have to kind of be more conscious within ourselves, and then everything else handles itself. Like people like Justin Bieber get dealt with easily if we're straight in our own mind. And my thing is, if you recall, you had people like Michael Jackson. He would say, "Kick me, kike me" in records. We're talking Michael Jackson, one of the biggest celebrities that ever was, and yet his record got censored. You got people like The Lock saying "stack chips like Hebrews," and that's a compliment, and that gets censored, and that's not even really, far as I'm concerned, or educate me if I'm wrong, but that's not even derogatory, as I see it.
In the context of you saying it, it wasn't meant to be derogatory, but just, it was a sensitive topic, obviously, because we know who runs the music industry. They weren't about to let that slide, so.
Well, I didn't think it was a slideable thing. It was like letting people slide is calling me the N-word. Like, yo, what's up, my? You know what I'm saying? You my, and then you say, all right, man, this dude, I don't like this, but he doesn't mean any harm. I'm gonna let that slide.
Right.
That's letting it slide.
Yeah, there's been a couple of those.
No, I was saying that they didn't want to let it slide. That's why they censored it. But I understand.
Now, see, my issue with this whole thing is very simple. Number one, like Chuck said, we as a people, and I hate starting off a thing with that because it just sounds super militant. But listen, we as a people, every time we get a chance to demand some respect as a people, to draw the line in the sand and say, yo, you cannot disrespect us. Somebody black always feels the need to jump up and defend them, and that always drives me crazy, just like it does Chuck. That's a pain in my ass. If this is your boy and he says something out of pocket and you don't believe he's a racist, leave him alone. Don't defend him. You can still be cool with him, but you don't have to run to his defense and slap everybody in, especially with the, well, why you so sensitive?
Right.
Why you feeling like you need to be offended? Like you shouldn't even be offended by that. You know you do it too. Okay, whatever. That's us. Why is it cool for him to disrespect your people and then you come to his rescue? Like, how is that your place? Why you Captain Save them? Don't save these hoes. Let it burn. Whatever it's going to be, let it be that. Floyd Mayweather, I don't need you stepping up to represent me and tell everybody, yo, leave him alone. Like, miss me with that. Miss me with that completely. And number two, and I hope I never hear this again, but I know I will. I don't want to hear the double standard defense. You know, it's okay for y'all to say nigga, but it's not okay for white people to say nigga. I answer that two ways. Number one, it's not a double standard. It's a standard. Your relationship with that word is different from our relationship with that word. Period, point blank, plain and simple. If I put my arm around my girlfriend and I call her baby and kiss her on the cheek, that's one thing. If you walk up to my, put your arm around her and kiss her on the cheek, no, you can't do that. Why? Right. Because we have a different relationship. If I'm arguing with my blood sister, and I call her a bitch, and you sitting in the house watching, and then we get outside the house, and you call my sister a bitch, and I punch you in the face, you can call her a bitch. How come I can't call her a bitch? The fuck out of my face, B. That's my sister. You know why? Because some things are cool within family that are not cool outside of family. It's not a double standard. It's a standard. And number two, Why is anybody white? 3, I guess. Yeah, number 3. Why is anyone white? My main comeback to them is exactly why are you fighting for the right to say nigga? Why is that so important to you? I don't see you fighting for the right to say kike. I don't see you fighting for the right to say wetback. I don't see you wanting to be able to say chink. But nigga is so important to you. Why as a white person would you ever
Because they want to be able to sing
word?
the songs with no issue.
Exactly.
I don't even think the songs are a big deal. Plenty of entertainers I've heard say, "Yo, in the song, in the context, I get it. It's a song. You just repeat
Like
the
Schoolboy
song."
Q allows it to happen at his shows because he's saying those people help support his family.
Right, and I get it.
Kanye said that 2 years ago for Gold Digger.
Mm-hmm.
He said it's okay, white people. You can say it. You can say it.
You can say it in a song.
But
That's
I'm
corny
not
too,
even
though.
comfortable with
Believe
that.
you me, that's corny as well.
yeah,
I'm not even
personally,
comfortable with that.
I've never been an N-word proponent. I've never liked using it personally. I used to fight with people for years about using it. I'm not going to get into the whole double standard thing. I just think because of the history of it, the N-word has a history that bitch doesn't, that other, words don't, and I just it's easier for me just not to use it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just lead by example. I prefer people not use it around me, but I don't get into arguments with people anymore because some people are married to it, but I personally don't like. So when these arguments come up, the first thing I say is, "Well, it's okay. I don't use it. I censor it in my copy. I censor it. If I'm quoting someone, I censor the N-word the same way, and I censor a curse. But that's just me. That's how I roll. So when things like this happen, I say, well, what do you expect? The word has become part of our culture, and we've allowed it to become part of our culture. And I know some of it was I hear Mecca's points, and I've heard those points for years, but it still doesn't help. It doesn't make it easier when these things happen because we're the only, like you said, we're the only race that uses it because Chinese people don't go around calling each other chink. Latinos
We wouldn't know.
Each other wetback.
We wouldn't know.
Calling each other nigger.
Italians call each other Guido all the time, and that's derogatory between them. Like, we wouldn't know. I won't pretend to know what happens in other cultures. All I know is when it comes to having respect for ours, we're the only people who allow folks to disrespect us, whether it's through song or whether it's face to face. But
Mac, I think that's real. That's totally real. But I do think that there are other words that they probably use to be derogatory towards each other. Like that conversation is still happening, and they're still using something. We might not use it, you know what I'm saying? But there are joints that they use that probably wouldn't come into our whole lexicon or whatever. But at the same time,
we
don't know it. That's their family thing. We put our family business in the music. You know what I'm saying? We put all of that into the music, and then the conversation that happens within that whole messaging becomes what happens when the doors are closed in a black household, and those certain words are being said about white people. That comes through in the music. So I'm not defending it in the way that everyone is supposed to use it just because we do it behind closed doors, but there is that factor of everybody wanting it to be so authentic. Like, this is how we talk in the homes, and this is how we talk when we get around each other. Other communities and other people, they may do it and be like, look, we're not going to take this outside of here. But with our culture, we're free and open and like, yo, we're gonna let everybody see the dirty laundry. That's why, and I don't even know if it's even on the gossip side, but that's why like gossip and media takeout and all of those are so heavy because we love the air out. But the same thing with white people too. It's just that they don't use the derogatory terms, whereas we would. You know what I mean?
Well, white people really don't have derogatory. White people, other races don't really have derogatory terms that match up with nigga. It's not really the same thing. If I call a white guy a cracker, that's a position of power. People don't understand that that's short for whip cracker. That's a position of power. I'm not really insulting you by calling you that. Like, there are other definite insults, but they don't have the same. They don't all have the same history.
But they still laugh at you.
Say it again.
What's that?
Honky's derogatory, but they'd still laugh at you.
Because it doesn't have the same sting.
They have to laugh at you because I grew up hearing that word on TV when like George Jefferson would do it.
Say it.
And then a laugh track comes with it. So you get conditioned after hearing that word and the laugh track comes on, they automatically kind of like watered it down. So I'm thinking it's a joke word rather than only something that he's using at the time when he's super frustrated with Tom. You know what I'm saying?
And it is a joke word. It is a joke word. It's a joke. It's a joke. It is a joke word. People can't even tell me you can't even tell me what's insulting about it. It is a joke word.
The origins of that word is basically.
Go ahead, Chuck.
Well, the origins of that word are funny in itself. Apparently, it's because if a white dude was dating a black girl, he had to go down the street and get him. Couldn't come out front.
The version I heard, it was actually prostitutes. The honkies were Johns. They would actually be honking to get the attention of prostitutes. That's why it had a derogatory slant to it, because you were basically, a John for a hooker.
Yeah, that sounds really insulting.
I mean, to some people it would be, but just the same, I don't want to detract from the topic. So what is the issue here? I mean, Bieber, I spoke to Nick Cannon today, and I kind of asked him about it without bringing up Bieber's name because I know they're friends, and he kind of gave me I think we're being too sensitive when it comes to the N-word, which doesn't necessarily absolve Bieber, but I think in general a lot of people are tired of the argument over it. But I think as long as we're living in a society where opinions about things are tossed aside and we're being told we're being sensitive, we're going to say something. Like, I don't think it's fair that we're being denied the right to be upset about stuff more and more. Like, we can't react to anything.
But Jay, I think like speaking to Nick, it's kind of tough to speak to Nick on it because of the way like his career is and like a lot of his moves. And then wasn't his like project like something about
dance music for white people?
Yeah.
Right. So that's what sparked the conversation, because when he did the whiteface thing, he caught holy hell.
Right.
But I didn't see the same visceral reaction to Bieber, so I asked him, is there a double standard? And that's kind of what got the conversation going. But
man, you know what's so crazy about the Bieber thing? I didn't even get to hear the whole thing. I was looking at the news on it this morning, but I didn't even get to like view it and see it. Almost because for some reason I'm kind of like deaf to it. For some reason, and that's wrong, man. I don't know like how wrong that is of me being like that. It's almost like I don't even want to hear it, because it's like this little dude. I'm not even looking. I'm not looking at him as a threat, but at the same time, I'm looking at how much power he holds over the masses, and maybe that's what I should be upset about, is that type of thing could get to his group of people and they think that is a cool thing, even though he did it when he was younger. But I don't know why this time I wasn't like amped to see what it was. What was the joke? Let me see what it is. And this time
after Sterling,
say it again.
After Sterling, you're like, tired.
Yeah, man. It's like, Sterling, real. Yeah. And the other thing is like, again?
I'm saying I was wiped out after Sterling. After going back and forth with that,
right?
You got to pick your battles. And I was not that I was defending Bieber ever at all. I was just like kind of like you. I was like, oh God, it's Justin Bieber. Like, whatever. This dude is already like a non-entity. And I guess with Sterling, because he actually owned a team and employed African Americans, it mattered more to me.
Right.
Bieber, like you said, he's a non-entity. He's kind of a non-factor to me. So I didn't have that. I didn't pull out the pitchforks to go hunt him down.
Right.
But I wasn't really like on some, we got to fire him. He needs to lose his job. Usher needs to tell him kick rocks. Like,
right.
I really didn't care.
But Jay, do you think that now he's more sensitive to the black experience? Because at 14, I'm sure he wasn't as entrenched with brothers like he is now. And I remember Charlemagne telling him like maybe a year and a half ago, like, you better stop hanging with these cats, man. I remember him saying that it was funny at the time, but it's like, look what happens, because the more you get closer to this group of people, more of this type of stuff is going to come out. And I guess he was trying to let him know on some jokey stuff, but being real at the same time. Does he have more of a connection to black folks now where that type of joke wouldn't happen? Do you think that he could still do that?
Or he just knows where his money, where his bread is buttered.
Right.
He may just know where his bread is buttered.
When the video
keep
came
excusing.
out, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Now my first thoughts were like, yo, who dined them out? Like who leaked this and why now? I think that was my other critical brain. It wasn't even so much that he said it. My first thought was like, why is this coming out now after all these years? And who did it? Because someone was filming it, and someone close to him got it, and they sat on this. He's like what, 18, 19? How old was he?
I think he was 15 in the video, so he's 20 now.
He's 20 now, so this is like 5-6 years ago.
Something like that.
So he looked dumb young too. Like, so I was just like, and you can hear someone in the video telling him, "Don't say it, don't say it." Like,
don't even do it.
Even they knew, like, dude, this is not going to be a good look. Don't do it. But then, I don't know. Maybe he felt comfortable with whoever was filming and who he was with. He didn't think it was going to come out.
And that's what gets me, because I'm sure Sterling walked around in the locker room and in the Staples Center amongst black people all the time, smiled in their faces, laughed, and all this, and in the back of his head, this is what he was really thinking. And I'm not saying that that's what Bieber was doing, but to act as if that's impossible is kind of crazy to me. They act like people turn racist after they hit 20 or after they hit the legal drinking age. Like 9 times out of 10, racism starts way back when. Like, they've been racist for a long time. They didn't just get older and turn racist. So if he is racist, that doesn't surprise me. I'm not even saying he is.
That's my question. Like, does telling a racist joke make you a racist? My concern isn't with necessarily with Justin Bieber being a racist or not being a racist. Like, he's going to have to cross that bridge when he comes to it. My problem is us allowing people to disrespect us by coming to his rescue. Like, if Justin Bieber calls us niggas and uses the N-word, don't rush to defend him. Like, just shut the fuck up. Like, why do you have to be the one to protect him? Like, don't save these hoes, especially Mayweather. Like, yo, Mayweather, when you was getting locked up and you was getting hemmed up and all this shit, was Bieber out there riding for you? Or did he just shut the fuck up and let you go through?
Damn,
shut the fuck up. What you defending him for?
But now you getting into people's mentality, and that's a whole nother story.
That's my only problem. That's my only problem. Like, whatever with Justin Bieber, I don't listen to his music. I don't really support him like that. I don't really know him like that. I'm not really concerned. Let him go through it. Like, go ahead and let him. Don't jump in between him and the bullet. Like, why you got to take a bullet for Justin Bieber?
But the crazy part about it is he's going to be okay. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to be able to jump from that and be fine. My thing is similar to the Donald Sterling thing is, why is it out? Why? Donald Sterling joint, he was being pressured. Something happened, a deal went bad, we gonna leak this. That's why it comes out.
Nah, the wife was suing the girlfriend. The wife was suing the girlfriend for all the gifts, and you know, you're gonna apply pressure to me? Okay, well,
here's the real joint. Right. Exactly. That's the same thing that's happening here. There has to be a coincidence between the fact of Wayne going that scooter the way that he did in defense of a Lil Twist, and then all of a sudden you get these, oh, look at what Justin Bieber said back when he was 7. Like, come on, man. All of this is timing. All of this is like back business, going back and forth. Somebody deal went bad, and it's like, we're going to sully the whole market for both sides. Now what's up? So now it's a trade of bars, and that's what this is, man. And then what's funny is the black experience is in the middle of it. It's not because of something else. It's because of, you know, something that can strike a chord with multiple groups. You know what I mean? So I just look at it like that, man. I think that's the other underlying point why I felt like I know this is some business thing.
Right.
That's what this is. That's what it felt like to me.
Code. You read in the Matrix Code. You look at
Yeah.
stuff. Oh, wait a minute. I see.
Yep. I see
Yeah,
timing. I see time, and I see situation. This
Right.
is crazy, but that still doesn't take away from the fact. But
Yeah.
it's just like it's tiring now, man. It's just
I'm
like,
sure there was a call that went out and he didn't pay that bread, and it was either you pay this bread or we're gonna make it uncomfortable for you, and you don't pay the bread, so here comes the video. Oh, you still ain't paid the bread? Okay, here comes the other video. Like I believe you, Dave. Like I'm
Well, it was
sure
bread, $1 million.
word.
Yeah, it was $1 million. And then they counted on for the $500,000. They Cat turned it down.
He was like, "Oh, you think I'm playing?"
Yeah, so I don't know if it was a business thing or not in terms of beef with Lil Wayne or whatever, but it was definitely somebody.
Oh, even blackmail is business. Even if it's blackmail, it's still business.
Right.
Like you just gotta
That's
pay
one
up.
of his
It's still
people.
business.
One of his people who he didn't break off.
Yeah, some way or the other is business. But at the end of the day, I'll say it again. My only problem is the fact that we as a people feel the need to let other people disrespect us, and then we jump down our own throats. We jump on each other, as like Jerry was saying. You don't have the right to be sensitive. Like, stop being sensitive. Like, you need to let it go, or you need to chill. Like, why is that always us? Why do we always need to do that to each other? I never see, even if we don't agree, we can just shut the fuck up. Like, you don't have to say anything.
Yo,
Just
Mac,
shut up.
that's his
2014.
man.
Nothing's not an option.
That's his man, but
Who's his man? Who? Floyd Mayweather? That's not his man. Like, Floyd, we all know how Floyd Mayweather makes friends. Nelly was like, yo, we not friends, my nigga. Like, we don't rock like that. I remember when you had my girl caught ringside at the fight. We not really friends. You ain't never been to my house. That's an industry friend. All you got to do is shut the fuck up.
Mac, that's Mayweather homie, man. You can't say that. He walks in with him to the ring every time, Mac. How you gonna say that?
His daughter's like him. My daughter's like you, nigga, but I'll chin check you. Like, he's disrespecting your daughters. Just shut up. Just shut up. You ain't gotta say nothing. And nobody would care. Like, I wouldn't care. Don't go at other black people who want to take him to task for what he just said. You know what he said is wrong. Don't point the finger back at us talking about, well, you use those jokes too. Nigga, no, shut up. I'm talking to him. Like, why is there always one dissenter in the group who just feels the need to turn the argument around? Like, just shut the fuck up. Just shut up. It's easy. Just shut up. If you don't agree, just shut up. Just let them go at him for being disrespectful to us.
Set up.
Yo.
Social
Yeah,
networks set up for silence.
I guess not. Everybody, just because you got an opinion don't mean you got to speak it. Like, just shut up.
That's what the world is now. It's all opinions. Yeah. There's no reporting anymore. It's all opinion now. It's all about opinion. And Floyd knew he was the first person they were going to look at. They were like, yo, Floyd, what you think? That's your boy. That's your people.
No comment. Easy. No comment. No comment.
You can't do that. You can't do that, man.
He get a text from Bieber like, yo, man, please say something.
No comment. No comment.
I thought we were cool.
Yeah. Well, listen, he ain't never said around me. No comment. Just shut up.
We're supposed to be brothers.
just whatever you gonna do to anybody who watches this, people come out their face disrespecting your own people. Let's just try and have a united front. Even if you don't agree, have those discussions in the house.
You asking black Twitter to have a united front? Are you kidding me?
I'm asking black people to have a united front. For what? Just try
it. Even tougher. Especially when money and influence are involved.
Everybody else do it. Everybody else can do it. Everybody else.
They'll side with a Bieber with money than a black nation that's broke.
We ain't broke as a people. We'd be better off if we stood together. Like, just try it. Just try it. Just once. When somebody calls you a nigga, don't point the finger back at other black people. Just once. Just try it. Just one time. Just see what happens.
The people with money are his friends, though. The people with money and influence are his friends, and they're the ones that have something to lose. So they're the ones that are going to speak up. The rest of us, our opinion don't matter.
Yeah, fucking
yo, I think, yo, Mac, for real, and I was joking earlier. What if that's his friend? Seriously.
I said that's one of his people. Because who else was that close to film that was cool with it?
You talking about defending them, or is they talking about defending them, or the guy who filmed them?
No, I'm talking about defending him.
Oh. If you my man and you come out of pocket, depending on how out of pocket you are, like if it's against my family, I can't help you. If you do something against my sister and her husband right there, and he punches you in the mouth, I can't help you, B. That's my sister. What you want me to do? The most I can do is, after it's all done, pick you up, clean you off, and get you up out of Dodge. Like,
that sentiment you're expressing about family doesn't exist on a grand scale, at least on social media amongst black people.
And that's what's fucked up, because like Chuck pointed out earlier, we the only race who don't get down like that. You pointed it out too. You say something against the Jews, they coming at you. Michael Jackson couldn't get away with it. The Locks couldn't get away with it. But we can't get away with that at all. But somebody say something to us, and it's, oh, well, you just being sensitive. Oh, well, you say that too. Don't nobody want to hear that on the other side. You never see them dissenting against each other. It's just us.
Yo, the gay people are more unified than black people now.
Oh, man.
You can't
just now, like for the longest.
I'm scared that word even came up in this conversation. I want to check out now. Like,
hey man, who's heard that Mayhem Loren and Buck Wild album? That's what we going there.
Anything but that, dude. Like, I don't want those problems at all.
It'll be like this. You're looking like Kane. You're looking like Kane in the Teenage Love video.
Yeah, like ooh, pineapples. I don't even want to talk about that. I want them thinking I'm offending them at all, because they will come at everything.
He said pineapples.
But we don't strike that kind of fear. Like, we don't garner that kind of respect. We don't get that kind of respect. That same respect that we show to the gay community, because they earned it. Because when the time comes, even if they don't agree with each other, they're not gonna let you disrespect them at all. They'll handle that between themselves. And I got gay people. I've been to the rallies. I've seen how it goes down. Like, I've supported my people when they got their issues. They don't agree with how they all get down together. Like, they have dissension within themselves, but they present a united front when the time comes. When somebody say something against a gay person, they stay together. Even if they don't agree, they stay together. We can't do that for shit. And you would think we'd have the most reason. We don't do that at all. We quickest to point out each other in public, in front of everybody, like, oh, God. Why you do it in front of everybody? Why you got to eat the watermelon in front of all these white people? Like, come on. Come on. You had to eat that 2-piece with a biscuit right now. You couldn't wait till you got home to do that.
But Mac, man, people, they not, yo, man, you looking for, like, the non-Uncle Ruckus, man, and they out there, man. They out there.
I gotta believe.
They are out there.
You know what happens? They get out there and they say something, and then they get nitpicked for their faults. Like, social media makes it so hard to come out and support or make a stand or make a statement against anything, because the first thing people want to do is point out, well, didn't you just ride your bike on the sidewalk the other day? Like, try to rip you apart, and it's like point where you don't want to say anything. I was having this discussion with a friend about Black Twitter and male and female issues, and how most dudes that ride on Twitter are talking shit about women, and then women get mad and say black men don't support them. But then you have black men to come out and support them, and it's either crickets, or they say, well, you a black man, how would you know my plight? You know, you can't win. So then you just, you know what, I'm just going to be quiet, because no matter what I say, someone on this stream is going to disagree with me or give me grief. And it's easier to just be mad about something or be out against something and brawl with people than to be in support of something good and still catch flack. You're like, well, why should I bother? Some people go on the internet looking for a fight, so they don't care. They'll be like, yo, yeah, blah, blah, well, F you too.
Because that's why it's one of the things, like with Facebook, when I go on Facebook and I get to see, like, you know, family, friends or whatever, and like how angry they are about everything. About the lady on the bus, about the gum wrapper that got stuck on their finger. They're like, you know, it's just like so many different things that tee people off right now. that when you get into the real topics, they can't even distinguish the real topics from something that's frivolous.
Right.
So everything is on the same plane. So the argument that Mech has could have the same kind of level of not having enough chips in their bag, their potato chip bag. And that's where, you know, we don't have levels anymore. Where everybody's like, oh, this is levels. No, we don't have levels in what's important, what actually should get us together as people. Like, those type of things aren't easily defined as they were in the 60s and early 70s, probably. That's that's just how it is, man.
There are a lot of us who don't see problems. They don't feel like there are black issues. They feel like, hey, I can still buy my new Jordans. My life is good.
There are plenty of black issues. There's plenty of black issues. There's plenty of.
A lot of us don't see them.
We see them. We see them. We see them. We want to act like they don't exist. We want to pretend like they don't affect us.
Okay.
And we want to be armchair activists on Twitter and on Facebook until the next distraction pops up. And other than that, there's no leadership in place to guide people. But unfortunately, I don't know if there was leadership. I don't believe people would follow it anyway.
No.
Because I feel like everyone has their own way. There's no unification in the agenda space for all of us to rally behind. As soon as you say one thing about black men, for example, there's always some bitter black chick that's going to disagree with you, and vice versa. And you know what I'm saying? Like, perfect example. I'm going to give you a perfect example. Obama started his Black Male Initiative, you know, announced that a few months ago. Now, just like with this week, 200 black men of prominence want to sign a petition and a letter to Obama critiquing him and mad at him because he didn't include women in this Black Male Initiative. It's like, dude, has there ever been such an initiative in the history of America and American government on this level? Has it ever happened? Secondly, can we all agree that black men have some specific things that we need to address that don't include women? Yes. So my thing is, and last but not least, women have their own set of issues. Let's just keep it real. But they also have a plethora of support groups, TV. I mean, it's like it's an endless sort of, whether they get it or not is one thing, but there's like almost an endless number of, you know, support groups and organizations. So black men don't have that type of support. So for like these people to come out and speak so boldly against it instead of perhaps trying to work within it or lovingly critique it or something like that.
Well, it's the same thing that happened with the Million Man March. There were a lot of women who were against it because they were, how are you going to leave out women? But you and I understood in the spirit of it that because men had such a tendency not to unify and not discuss things, we needed to handle it in-house.
Right.
And we needed to do it amongst ourselves to make sure that it was serious. And in organizations where the women do most of the work.
Yep.
Right.
When there's an issue, whether it's political or social, and the men and women get together, the women end up doing most of the work, and the men are the faces of said movement. So I thought it was a good idea for one time for it just to be men, because then we would be forced to do the work. Yep. And that's the same thing with the you know, I don't know if I agree with everything that the 200 black men were saying, because I read something where they were trying to say Obama is victim shaming, victim blaming, and this is the wrong approach.
You know, I didn't even get a chance to check all of the details on what they said, the 200 men, but to be able to bring movements that we've seen that change the world and change the perception of black men, be it if you're on the side of Martin Luther King or you're on the side of Malcolm X, you have to have those type. I'm sorry?
Who weren't necessarily on different sides.
Right. But people perceive it that way. Right. You know what I mean? You have to have figures like that. And the fact that, you know, we don't have those right now, because of the fact of what happened to them, what ultimately happened to them, is where lives were on the line. and the constant beatings and the constant, being dragged through the media the way that they were. Cats don't want to take it there. They don't really want to be there. I don't know how many of us.
A whole new way to take care of your.
that's that casino drink.
No, there's that Vegas.
That's one of y'all trying to get your Pekino on.
But no, I think that's one of the major issues is we don't have that one leader. Everybody, they already try to sully, Al Sharpton. You can't deal with Farrakhan because he's too religious and too into, what happened back in the past. Yeah, like all the time. Where is the leadership? Because now even Obama, in the position that he's in, is getting, trampled from our side. You know what I mean? So it's crazy, man. Like, who's going to be able to take the people to that next step?
Some leaders don't want to step up because it's like, what do I have to gain from this? I say, all right, I'm trying to better my people, but all I'm hearing is from the people who are against me. It kind of takes the wind out of your sails. It's like, who am I doing this for? I might die. I might be blackballed. I'm not going to get a job. Nothing. So who am I helping? Like, who am I doing this for?
It's not easy to do, but it's getting to a point now. I think it's been to a point, but it's definitely to a point where it's necessary. Like somebody, dude, I'm as tired as everybody else is. I get it. But somebody has got to do something. We can't keep going like this. Like, eventually, this is going to catch up. Somebody's either... And my father always used to say, either step up or step aside. Like, if you ain't going to be in the front, that's cool. If you don't want to be in the forefront...
stepped aside, and they all...
No, but they're not stepping aside. They're not stepping aside. They're stepping in the way. That's my biggest problem with it. Like, step aside. Like, get out the way. Don't be a roadblock if you're not going to be a propellant. If you're not going to help, that's cool. Not everybody got out and marched. Not everybody took a hose. Not everybody did that. But there weren't people in the media talking about, you niggas taking hoses is crazy. Life is good. What the fuck wrong with y'all? Like, I mean, of course they were, but they got jumped on. Like, those dissenters got jumped on. Now dissenters are celebrated. Like,
yeah,
just get out the way. That's all I'm saying. Like, if you ain't gonna be the leader, that's cool.
Because dissenters get reality shows.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying the dissenters have motivation.
Jesus,
the dissenters get attention. The dissenters can get a check. I'm not defending it. I'm just stating the facts.
No, you are. I'm not even mad at you. Like, it's kind of what it's come to. But I'm just, dude, if anybody's watching this, just please don't get in the way. Don't be so quick to point out the flaws. Don't run around pointing fingers. Like, just chill. Just go ahead with your life. If this works out, we'll all be better off. If it don't work out, you didn't lose nothing. But just shut the fuck up in the meantime. Just shut up. I don't know. I don't know.
We ain't even get to talk about music. Look at that.
So did you want to talk? Y'all want to talk about 50 real quick?
Oh man, how y'all feel about it?
Queen, stand up.
This is the succinct. I played the album on Spotify while I was at work, and
it's already on Spotify.
Yeah, from day one.
Oh, okay.
And they said, so what do you think? I said, it wasn't bad enough to make me turn it off, but it wasn't good enough to make me turn it up. So I had to go back and revisit it. Like, some songs caught my attention. I was like, no. Okay, cool. So I had to go back to it. But some albums, after first listen, I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to listen to this. I guess what was going on in my head was, why am I listening to 50? I listen to every artist for a reason. I look to them for something. If I want to get rowdy, I listen to this person. If I'm feeling mellow, I want to listen to this person. And as 50 started rapping, I didn't know why I was listening to him, because nothing he was rapping about I really cared about. So I don't know if that's a function of me or what, but I used to get a certain sense of satisfaction listening to him back in the day, because he was either funny or clever or the beat was dope. I got something out of it. I don't get anything out of listening to 50 these days. I don't know.
I think I listened to the album yesterday, and I like the second half on down. It like from like 6 on down. I like that a little bit more. I think he probably like had like probably 18 or 19 joints that he probably really wanted to put out, and then he chopped from the bottom, you know, because it seems like the top was pretty tight for like radio and all of that stuff, and then towards the end kind of got like a little bit more vintage 50. I want to see what he does visually, man. I think a lot of these projects today, they're not just carried by the music, they're carried by the visuals and what you do. So like the remix with Fab, I like. I mean, the idea of G-Unit coming back is good, but I want to see what they're able to do once they get their synergy back and really start. If they're able to hang with each other, I don't know. Buck was sounding real crazy on that Summer Jam stage the other night, so I don't know how that's going to go. But I think it's going to take another album for 50 to either want to get back into his normal groove of what he was doing before, if he even cares to do so, or if he's going to really look into like building G-Unit back with like Lloyd, or really try to do something with Kid, because the music now is really going to be in limbo until he figures out exactly what he wants to do.
See, I think 50 is stuck because only the heads who were around for the first wave are even looking for vintage 50. Like, we're the only ones who are looking for that old feeling. The kids who don't really have any knowledge of him like that, he's free to reinvent himself with. So he's got to do something different, and that may not necessarily appeal to us because we have it stuck in our heads of what a 50 Cent record is supposed to sound like.
Right.
I will
Get Rich
say,
10 years.
yeah.
So a 20-year-old music fan was 10.
Right.
We Get Rich Pop.
Or if you even had older brothers and they were playing it for you, that's one thing. But you know, we who are around for the first wave in the '90s, we remember vintage 50, vintage G-Unit. I will say, those new records from G-Unit go, like those shits go. Now I'm talking about Goes, the joint they did over Drake's. I love the fact that they jacked it, didn't even give it a full week to live, and they jumped on it and murdered it. And Buck is sounding like he doesn't ever want to go back to jail. Like, I'm sure Uncle Sam is ghostwriting those bars for him. He got those thoughts in the back of his head for every rhyme he writes. He's not trying to go back to that life. You know, this is my shot. He's going to be hungrier than ever. So, I mean, I'm with it. I'm with it. I haven't even listened to the album yet because I'm slow to get into it. I don't really want to be disappointed or get swept up in the hype. But
it's worth listening to. I think it's worth going to check out. I definitely want to take time to actually focus on it. I'm still playing Barrel Brothers, but
yeah, that joint.
Salute the Barrel Brothers.
50 joint is definitely a listen, man. Like you got to get into it, and if you genuinely like the dude, like I think you'll feel as though it's not like a whack album or anything like that. It's definitely one of those joints that you could tell he worked on it. Like, it was like, all right, I'm not just going to throw something out. Because this is also, I think one of the things that we're forgetting is this is him striking out after the Interscope joint, you know, the No Boss label. You know what I mean? He's always been a boss, but, like, truly now there's no one to really tell him or hold him back from anything. And it's going to be interesting to see what kind of moves he makes, you know, with this new venture.
He did Tech 9 numbers. Indie-wise, he did Tech 9 numbers. Like,
what was they saying?
Like between 30 and 36,000 first week, which is what Tech did for the compilation project Strangulation. So, and if anybody is doing the indie game right, it's Tech 9.
Oh yeah, totally.
So, doing Tech 9 numbers. I don't see any shame in that. When you're indie, I don't see any shame in that.
Right. Right, and that's a bold move too for someone that, you know, was on a label such as Interscope and so high up the chain. You know what I mean? Like, that's a real bold move. There's not too many cats that's willing to strike out from that super major label level to be like, I'm just gonna go ahead and go this way, especially after they denounced that way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Started writing on the wall, though. He's not stupid. One thing he said, 50.
Smart guy, man.
Smart dude. So you see, Jimmy Iovine just left to go do headphones and Apple. So
yeah, Jimmy sees the writing too.
So he was like, "Yo, I'm out. I'm about to go do this independently." But he's smart, and also in the fact that he timed this to come up with his TV shows coming out Saturday. Power. And I think he has a song on that soundtrack. His song is the title track for the thing. So, but what happened at Summer Jam, man? Like,
he pulled off a reunion, a robbery, and a hit. Queen, stand up. Queen, stand up. Oh,
my album's about to come out and I'm a Wild Out 50, or do you sincerely think he had issues with dude?
No, but he always has issues. Like even if he just waits to address them, he's always had like a legit issue. Like all these issues are somewhat legitimate, even if he's being a bully about it. He's always had something going. Chuck, I want to give a shout out to Chuck because I got all the background on the whole Slow Bucks and Trav thing, checking out allhiphop.com. So that was major. Good looking out.
Yeah. We were lucky enough to have, I guess, the clearest footage to the situation when it happened.
The breakdown, though, the breakdown of the past issues, like leading up to this, is what I got from checking All Hip Hop.
I got to give a shout out to the writers on that one, man.
Yeah. It's funny that you bring that up, Mac. Like I've said that quite a few times that everyone says 50's the bully, but even when you don't know the situation, he will enlighten you on the reason why he did what he did.
And make you feel like, shit, word?
Oh, yeah, right.
Now I get it. Yeah, he's never really, like we said, he's a smart dude. Even if he picks the time and place to get busy, there's always been something behind it. Like, even if we don't know everything, he rarely does. I've never seen him do anything for no reason.
It's tough to get him on that.
Like, just because.
Right. It's tough to get him on that, man. Let's see what he does, fellas.
I'm with it. It's going to be a good summer. It's going to be a nice summer. Breezy home, Siegel home, G-Unit back. It's going to be a wild summer.
Beans is out?
Beans is out?
That's the rumor.
What?
Uh-oh. We might get a rock reunion.
Oh, that would be crazy.
Look at that. Oh, in the crowd boos.
That's just not happening.
It wouldn't be right without Dame. If Dame ain't there, it wouldn't be right.
I don't know, man.
Jay and those stayed to be.
I think Jay and Beans are gonna have a sit down before the end of the year. He can't keep doing these Philly joints, and there has to be a sit down. Broad Street Bully, man, they're gonna talk, man. They're gonna talk.
I hope so.
It'd be dope.
Because that was crazy to be at Made in America and Jay bringing out all the Philly cats and Beans not being there. It did definitely felt wrong, but
yeah, it's a lot of violations in the situation, but
of course,
I'm sure they could work them out, man.
They grown men. They can get it together.
And they've grown since that time, because that was like what, like
at least 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, that was like Blueprint 3 time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
it's around that
something
time.
like that.
Yeah. So, all right, fellas.
All right. I'm gonna go watch. Is the message still on?
Yeah, it's still on, man.
At 11.
I'm gonna go catch the second half of it.
All right, then, y'all.
All right.
One up.
One up.